show you a few ideas that you can use on a canvas. The previous video that I've put it on YouTube, I showed you how to prime your superwood or your hardboard or anything that you want to work on. You can even use your canvases like these. But I want to show you something else today. I've taken an old book and I've started gessoing the pages, and I started experimenting on them. I just put these in between, otherwise they stick sometimes together when they're a little bit wet. So everything that I want to try out, I try out in this book, because I've got everything on hand when I want to check something quickly, and it doesn't pile up in a lot of canvases in my studio. So if I see something that I like, I just try it here. And yeah, so what I'm going to show you today is how to prepare your pages. I've put a gesso, one coat of gesso on here. You can use any gesso that you can find. You can buy it at any craft store or a store that sells arts and crafts and paints and stuff. I've put on the first coat like that. I'm just going to go this way now. I've got a little bit of texture. I don't mind the texture. If you don't like it, you can put it on with a roller or something smoother, or just as you like it. I'm just going to quickly gesso this, and then I've put this plastic here because I don't want to let it stick to the other pages on the other sides. So when I paint as well, and I use a little bit of inks or watercolor, I don't want my pages to stick together. You can put on as much coats as you like of this gesso. You can use it on your canvases that you've made out of superwood. You can use it on hardboard. You can use it on old, what do you call it in English? Sorry, my first language is Afrikaans. I'm not very good in English, but I'm trying. But never mind. It will get to me a little bit later. I'm just gonna do both pages because I'm not sure. I want to show you a little bit of decoupage, a little bit of gel mediums, stencil work and everything. So I'm not sure if I want to use one page together or just the two pages apart. I'll see that when I start to get there. So as you can see, you just gesso it quickly, and then you need to let it dry. For the techniques that I use, it must be very dry. So I'm gonna leave it until it's dry. It's very hot where we live, so it dries quickly. But if you live in a colder place, you must leave it maybe to the next day or something. Or otherwise, you can take a heat gun and you can heat it. Just be careful that you don't burn the stuff that you've got on the page. There's a lot of texture going on in these pages, but as I said, I like it. If you don't like it, you'll need to smooth it out, or even use a piece of sanding paper to make it smoother. If you start out and you haven't got the gesso, remember in the first video I told you can use ordinary house paint like water-based acrylic. You can even use this on your pages. It's not gonna be a problem. Just don't thin it down. Use it straight out of the tub. I'm gonna let this quickly dry, and then I'll come back and show you the next step. Okay, I've decided to just go with one page for now. I'm taking a serviette, as we call it in South Africa, a serviette. I don't know what you call it in your country. I wish I knew. I'm going to take off this backing at the back. This one, we're not going to use this one. I'm going to I'm gonna decoupage these roses on here, and then I'm gonna do a little bit of texture at the background as I go along. So what I'm going to use now is just these two roses here. Let me just tear it out quickly. Okay, there you go. I'm going to take that away. Now I'm going to just quickly go around all these pieces that I want to keep. You can take a scissor and cut it out if you like. I don't use a scissor. I like the unevenness and oh, I see this is a 3-ply, so I'm going to take out that bit as well. Not going to use that. I just want this thin piece of paper here. You can go as near as you want, or you can leave a little bit of space around them. Oops, there I made a tear, but that doesn't worry, I'll fix that. So I think I'm gonna put them about there. I want to do a pot here with these roses inside. You use, this is a artist acrylic gel. You can use various stuff to do this, decoupage paste work as well, or even I think some other brands, any gel medium that dries clear you can use. So I'm gonna put I'm just gonna put a little bit of this medium here at the back. I'm gonna position my roses the way I want them. Make sure you put it onto the gel medium. Then I can take a little bit of gel medium again, and I'm gonna go over this whole thing there. Just make sure you don't get too much creases and stuff. You can even take a small rubber roller and roll it out. I've got a little bit of creases, but I'm not gonna stress too much about that now. So when I get to this point, I'm going to leave it again to dry. I'm just going to take you a little bit closer that you can see, or maybe I should rather pick it up and show you. See, I've got a little bit of creases going on the left hand side, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. So for now I'm just going to put it down and wait until it's dry, and then I'll show you the next step that I like to do. Okay, my roses dried. They're very dry, so I can work on it now. Now I'm just going to follow the stems of mine, and I'm going to maybe put the roses here in a small bowl. I'll decide how big, or I would, if I'm going to make a glass one, or maybe just paint. Let me lift that a little bit up, because you don't want to go too low. If you put a frame around this, that you don't take away from that. Usually you must leave a little bit space around the area for you to need to be framed, but I love to spill over. So I'm going to start now. I want these colors that I've used, that's in the serviette here, these deep burgundy blackish colors, and then I'll work it out from there. I don't know what I'm going to do, I'll see. I've got here a little bit of burgundy. I've got a alizarin crimson. I've got a cadmium yellow medium. I've got a little bit of lemon yellow, a little bit of Payne's grey, and white. So first I'm going to try and work around these edges to cover them up a little bit. I don't want them to be seen easily. So I'm mixing a little bit of black, the Payne's Grey and my alizarin crimson, and I'm going to start out filling up these spaces. You always want a little bit of depth around your flowers for shadows and stuff. So usually at the back of your flowers and in between you can go rather dark, because the one can throw maybe a shadow on the next one and so on. I just want to take away this line that I've got here. And then I'm going to start filling up this background. I'm not going to waste too much time there. You can decide which side you want to for your where your light is coming from. Say we can maybe say our light is coming here from the left hand side. So everything on this side will be a little bit lighter. I just get out some more paint. Okay, I want a little bit of alizarin crimson as well. Okay, so this is my shadow side. So I think I'm going to start there and work my way around. You can see the alizarin crimson is a little bit transparent, so I'm trying to go back and fix all those lines that is coming through from the serviette. Okay, you can go crisscross. You can blend. This is acrylic, so it dries very quickly where we live in South Africa. So that's why I'm working so fast. You can even take a little bit of a spray bottle and spray this a little bit of a mist over your paint as well as on your canvas. Just don't make it too much water, otherwise you're going to be struggling for it to otherwise it's going to get too wet. Sorry. Okay, now I'm just putting a little bit of a lighter color on this side. I want the light to come from this side and go into the dark on that side. So while it's wet, I quickly go and I blend that it's not so two colors against one another. It's not too harsh. Up here, maybe I've got a type of a table or a cloth lying down here. Here I go horizontal to give the illusion of a table or a cloth. Just want to get a little bit of more white. So you can see I go horizontal here to create the image of a table or what I want here. Here I will go slightly darker because this spot is casting a shadow across on this side. You can it depends on where the light comes from. If it comes from a very low angle, your pot will throw a long shadow to that side, but that's things that you can learn when you start painting. You don't have to do everything today and do it right, because it's very daunting to start, but you just don't be afraid. Just go for it. You can always paint it over when you see it's not going to work for you or whatever, but don't be afraid. Try. It's only a piece of paper and a little bit of paint. What can you lose? Just going to bring a little bit of that light shining through. Not too much though, I like the darkish on this side. Okay, and there I think my background and foreground is almost finished. Just come a little bit closer here. I don't want a too dark halo around my roses. Just going to quickly wash my brush. If you work with acrylic, you must immediately rinse your brushes and wash them afterwards nicely, because otherwise if you leave them to dry with the paint in it, you're going to ruin it. Don't let it stand in the water like this, because then your bristles is going to curl up and distort. So rinse it quite good, and then you can put it away to wash at the end of the session. If you work with oil, you don't have to worry about that. Okay, now I'm going to think what I'm going to do with this pot. Let me just quickly grab a brush. I think for this pot I'm going to keep it a lot of more whitish color. I'm going to use this purpley color for the shadowy part on this side of the pot. I've got it, so I just can as well leave it, use it. I just want to see, maybe I can put a little bit of blue in there. Now this blue is, my paint tends to dry quickly in South Africa. We've got a big problem with the acrylics here. I live in a very hot country, so this is follow, but it's very, very strong. So you must just be very careful how you put that into your paintings. I still want to bring that color through. And put on your lids as you work, because as I say, if you live in a hot country like I do, it's going to be very dry very quickly and you're going to throw it away. Okay, so I've got a shadowy color that I like here. I'm going to start with my pot now. You can draw it in your charcoal or in pencil or in whatever medium you like that can wipe off easily if you're not sure to do it freehand. I don't want to waste too much time on the videos because I know sometimes take up a lot of data. So I do a shadow underneath here because my pot stands on a table, so it needs to have a shadow there. And I go with a round oval that you've got here as well as here. It's not flat. You need to do a curve and a curve, the same. It must be the same. You can do a circle here and there, a curve. It's not going to work. Just going to quickly lift this up that you can see what I'm doing. You can see there I went around the roses. You can see there's my pot. You see the curve at the bottom and the curve inside. My shadowy color that I've got there, I'm going to highlight now. I'm taking that same color almost that I've got there. I like the bluish color there. I'm going to just put a little bit into my white. And I'm going to start painting my pot. Again, if you work wet in wet, it's better. Because you can blend it a little bit here. Here this is already dry, so I'm starting to struggle now here to blend on the sides. A little bit of light catching that side and that side. I want a strong highlight on this side. You're going to have a little bit of a shadow on this side because your pot is curving in there. Just want to wet it a little bit again. I'm going to make it a little bit lighter than my background to stand out. You see how powerful this blue is. It's almost too much now, but it's alright. I'll work with it. Just want to bring a little bit of the purple into here. I'm going to strengthen the line underneath the pot. Maybe going to take a little bit of my paint spray with the blue and the purple. I'm going to strengthen that line there, because anything, you must have a look, anything that's standing on a table, or like even a glass, or maybe a coffee mug or something, you will see I've got a nice strong shadow underneath. I'm gonna just put a little bit of more shadow into here, maybe a little bit more there. I'm gonna put a little bit more white there where the light is coming from. Remember, this is just quick demos to show you what you can do with not a lot of stuff. We are in lockdown now, so it's a problem to get all the paints and the stuff and so on. You can even use these, like I said in the previous video, you can use the house paint to do this. It's no problem. If you've got any serviette lying around, you can try it. Just take the theme that's with that serviette. Maybe if it's animals, you can put it in a landscape form, or whatever you want to do there. Okay, I'm going to start now with my stems. Therefore, I'm going to use a little bit of sap green. These things are so difficult to open sometimes. I'm gonna use some of those blues there with my greens to darken it a little bit. And I'm gonna put in my stem there. It's going into my pot at the bottom there. I've got another stem coming down from that side. I'm going to put in a few of my leaves. I'll make, as I go along, I'll show you easy videos to make leaves and stuff and everything. I just want to show you the decoupage today. I don't want to put too much pressure on showing you everything. So it will be easy paint along tutorials that I'm going to show you as you go along. I'm gonna maybe just it's maybe too much there for that, so I'm gonna put another stem in here because I want to. I like the little bit of green coming through. Now I'm taking lemon yellow and I'm highlighting from the side where the light is coming. You see my paint's already dry now. Highlighting from the side that the sun is coming, or your light is coming from. As you go into your shadowy color here on this side where you know your shadows lie more, you can put in a little bit of more of your greens and a little bit of more maybe orange or yellow ochre or whatever you've got lying around in the house. As I said, you can even use your house paints. Don't be afraid to try out with the house paints. They work perfectly, especially if you're starting out and you want to try your hand on painting and you're not sure where to begin. There you can see I overlapped that one a little bit just to push it back. And I think that's about it. I'm not going to do too much there. Now I just want to quickly put a few strokes on this, oopsie, on the roses, because I want it to look more natural and not like something that I stuck down there. For that I'm going to use a little bit of my crimson again. I'm even going to use a little bit of my red, my cadmium red. I can just find it. There it is. And I'm going to use that yellow that's on there. And maybe a touch of white later on, I'll just see. You get a few different types of brushes as I showed you last time. You can use the flat one, you can use these ones that's a little bit tapered. I've used these for about 25 years, maybe longer. And recently bought me these, and I like these a lot. But as I say, you know, there's no wrong or anything. Okay, I'm going to take my crimson again, go into my Payne's Grey, and just put in a little bit of shadows there where I can see them, the same color. You can hold your brush against and see if you've got the same color there. I'm not going to paint the whole rose, just snippets of it so it can look more maybe a little bit real, painted and not decoupaged on. I'm just going at the back of the petals that's the lightest. Now I'm going to put a little bit of white with it. And I'm going to put in a few leaves there and there. And I'm going to take my red and start putting on a little bit of thick texture. I'll show you a little bit later. While I've got it on my brush, I'm going to that side. I'm overlapping that leaf there so it can look if it's like it's in front of the other one. I'm going to take a little bit of my crimson with my Payne's Grey for this rose here on this side. I haven't put in the shadows yet there. Now I can take a little bit of yellow on the same brush that I've got with the red in. It'll give me a little bit of a orangey color. I'm going into my deeper shadows here, just the next one level up, I'll say, from the dark Payne's Grey and crimson. And I'll go into my white a little bit with my same color, the yellow. And I'm just going to put on those touches of light playing on the rose here and there. As I said, I'm not going to fill up this whole rose with paint. I'm going to leave some of the serviette coming through there at the back. I'm going to put a little bit of more red here with this one, especially if it's because it's turning to the dark side. I'm just putting a little bit of texture here and there to cover up the most of the serviette that's coming through. I lost a little bit of my shadowy dark there, so I'm just putting a little bit of it back again. Okay, I see I forgot that little stem sticking out there from the serviette. I'm just going to cover it a little bit with my greens. can even take your, let me just find it quickly, your fine point round brush, wet it a little bit, go into that blue that you've got there, and you can maybe decide to make it look like a delft pot or something. You can even take a little bit of your Payne's grey with your black as you go to the shadowy part. I'm not painting anything here specific, I'm just making swirls and stuff. As I said, I don't want to waste too much time on the video, and I don't want it to forward too much because I want to let you see what I'm doing so that you can learn. You can take a little bit of white here and there, you can just touch it for a little bit of light coming through, not too much. Highlight a little bit more in front of that rose there. There might be at the back. Just a touch. Clean off your brush. I've still got a little bit of white here, so I'm gonna work it in here to get a little bit more brightness on my pot. Maybe go in here and there in between those. Give it a little bit of texture. And there you go. Now you can just sign it. I'm just going to take it off here from the stand to bring it closer so that you can have a look. So just bear with me for a... Okay, here's the close-up. As you can see, I almost covered everything on the serviette with paint. There's the pot. My little delft pot. And there is the whole painting. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love for you to paint along. I'm gonna do a few videos through the month and upload them that I can show you the different things that you can do. If you like this, please subscribe and like, and I'll see you next week. Have a nice day.